What if the very word you were taught to use to seal your prayers, to agree with the divine, was actually the sound of your own cell being locked? Amen. A word so common, so reverent. What if it is the most dangerous lie ever told? What you are about to hear is not a theory. It is a fragment of remembrance. The title of this video, The True Lord's Prayer, the Gnostic Secret, the Church rewrote to hide the Demiurge, is not a provocation. It is a warning. A warning that the Lord's Prayer, as we know it, was rewritten, and the key to the trap lies in the final word. They told you, Amen means so be it, a seal of agreement. But the premise that brought us here tonight is far darker and far more liberating. The Gnostic secret the Church buried is that the original Amen was not a word of submission. It was a frequency. In the original Gnosis, sound was the key to creation and liberation. The true Lord's Prayer was not a plea on bent knees. It was a powerful vibrational mantra, a soul technology to retune your divine spark to the fullness of the pleroma. And Amen was the final note, the resonant frequency that shattered the material illusion. But the Church, in its quest to hide the Demiurge, the false god of this material world, changed the intonation. They changed the vibration. They turned a master key of liberation into a lock of conformity, a seal that does not connect you to the divine, but binds you to the matrix of the Paito, false god. The suppressed truth, whispered in the Nag Hammadi texts, is about awakening, not obeying. So the rebellion begins here. It begins with your sound. Will you continue to seal your own prison with the dead words they gave you? Tonight, we don't just decode the lie. We activate the truth. We learn to vibrate the true Amen, the dead word and the living vibration. Let us begin with the trap, the word Amen. In dogma, it is the full stop. It is your agreement with the Father. You ask for the bread, you ask for forgiveness, and you seal it with Amen. You agree to the transaction. You submit to His will. But which Father? The Gnostic Gnosis, the wisdom found in Nag Hammadi, asks the forbidden question: what if the God of this world, the God of the Church, the God who demands obedience and worship, is not the true source? What if He is a lesser creator, the Demiurge, a false god who feeds on your submission, a jailer who administers the illusion of matter? If that is true, then every Amen spoken in submission is a vow of loyalty to your jailer. It is you saying, yes, I agree to remain in my cell, so be it. The illusion is auditory. It is vibrational. The pleroma, the fullness of the true source, is not a place. It is a symphony. And you, your divine spark, are a lost note from that symphony, a unique tone that has forgotten itself. The Demiurge cannot create. He can only imitate and imprison. He created matter to be a place that muffles the sound of your spark. The original, true Lord's Prayer, the suppressed truth, was not a request. It was a tuning formula. It was a set of vibrations that helped the spark remember its own song. And the original Amen was the crescendo. It was the note that resonated so perfectly with the pleroma that, for an instant, the material world and its rules dissolved. It was your vibrational signature. The Church could not allow this. The false god cannot allow sovereignty. So they took the living vibration and mummified it into a dead word. They gave us the noise of doctrine to drown out the music of gnosis. Think of your daily life. This is the modern connection. The Demiurge is a master of noise. The illusion is no longer just church dogma. It is the feed. It is the endless scroll. It is the notifications, the alerts, the constant hum of distraction. Every ping from your phone is a tiny amen to the matrix. It is a sound that pulls you outward, into the material illusion, and away from your inner vibration. The white noise of society is the hymn of the archons, designed to keep you out of tune. Let us pause. A micro-practice. Stop now, wherever you are. Close your eyes for just 5 seconds. Ignore my words and just listen. Listen to the hum of your room, the traffic outside, the sound of your own breath. Beneath all that noise, there is a silence that vibrates. Can you feel it? That silence is not empty. It is full of potential. It is the blank canvas of your gnosis. That is where the true Amen begins. The sorcery of intonation. How did they do it? How do you turn a key of liberation into a prison lock? It wasn't by changing the word. It was by changing the music. It was a sorcery of intonation. Think of how you say Amen at the end of a prayer. It is a note that falls, Amen. The energy descends. It is a statement of finality. It is a full stop. It is the sound of gravity. It is the sound of matter claiming you. It is the sound of submission. It is the sound of a file being closed. This is the Demiurge's trick. The gravity of matter, the finality of death, the obedience to the free, the false god. The intonation they taught us reinforces the prison. But the gnosis of Nag Hammadi speaks of ascent. It speaks of escaping the archons, the planetary gatekeepers who guard the gates of this prison. Texts like the Apocryphon of John describe the soul's journey upward, through realms that demand seals and secret names to pass. These names and seals were not words in the human sense. They were frequencies. The soul had to vibrate at the correct frequency for the Archon's gate to dissolve, to prove it belonged to the pleroma. The original Amen, the suppressed truth, was this frequency. It was not a sound that fell in submission. It was a sound that rose in sovereignty. It was a sustained note that opened a vibrational portal. It was the sound of your divine spark announcing its origin, saying, I do not belong to this matter. I am of the pleroma. The Church, under the influence of the Demiurge, took this ascending sound of liberation and inverted it. They gave us a descending sound of conformity. It is the simplest and most devastating sorcery. They made us believe that the sound of our own prison was the sound of salvation. Think about it. The sound of gravity, the sound of a falling object, is a vibration of ending. The physics of this illusion are based on entropy, on decay. The falling Amen is an entropy spell. It aligns your divine spark with the law of material decay, instead of aligning it with the infinite creativity of the pleroma. It is a subtle magic. See the modern connection to this sorcery. It is not just in the church. It is in all language of control, the language of advertising, the language of politics, corporate jargon. It is language designed not to resonate. It is language designed to flatten thought, to create obedience, to stop gnosis. It is language that falls, that finalizes, that opens no portals. It is the hypnotic jingle that keeps you in a trance. So be it. Just do it. They are all amens to the matrix. They are dead words with dead intonations to keep souls asleep. Let's try another micro-practice. I want you to feel the difference in your own body. Make a sound. First, make a humming sound. And let the note fall at the end. Feel how final that is, how the energy dies in your chest. Now, make the same hum, but this time, let the note rise slightly at the end, as if it were a gentle question. Feel the difference? One closes, the other opens. One is submissive, the other is curious. One is the illusion of finality, the other is the vibration of gnosis. The sorcery was to convince us to always choose the note that falls, the sound of the spark, the true AUM. So what is the true Amen? If it is not the word, what is the frequency? The Demiurge cannot create. He can only copy, corrupt, and invert. The Church rewrote Amen, but the original still exists. They could not destroy it. They just hid it in plain sight. The suppressed truth is that the Gnostic Amen is what the Eastern traditions, which the Demiurge could not corrupt so completely, still hold as the sound of creation, the AUM or OM. Look at the letters, AMN, Amen. Look at the letters, AUM, Om. It is a subtle corruption, the removal of the U, the sound of the throat, the sound of the channel, the bridge between the chest and the mind, and its replacement with the N, the sound of no, the sound of negation, the sound of the full stop. The U, oo, is the vibration of the throat, the portal between the heart, A, and the mind, M. It is the channel of gnosis. By removing the Y, UU, they cut the bridge. They trapped you in a closed loop between chest and head, disconnected, unable to express the truth of the spark. The final NN is the sound of a door slamming shut. AUM is the engine of reality. It is the vibration of the pleroma. The sound of creation, the open sound, the sound of the divine spark announcing itself. It vibrates in the chest. Ooh, ooh, the sound of maintenance, the sound that channels the energy. It vibrates in the throat. The sound of dissolution or resonance, the sound that dissolves back into the whole. It vibrates in the skull, at the pineal gland. AUM is not a sound that ends. It is a sound that circulates. It is the cycle of creation. It is an engine. AMN is a sound that ends. It is a break. The true Lord's Prayer was a mantra that culminated not in an Amen, the break, but in an AUM, the engine. It was the ignition. It was the sound that realigned the divine spark with the pleroma. It was your sonic rebellion. The modern connection here is the most personal. It is the epidemic of the påkillan för Peters. How many people have been told they can't sing? That they should just lip sync? This is Archon programming. This is the Demiurge's illusion at its most intimate level. They have convinced you not to use your voice, not to vibrate, because your resonant voice is the most powerful weapon you have against the Matrix. A human being who is afraid of their own sound is the perfect prisoner. They have silenced you so you cannot vibrate the key to your own cell. Let's do one final micro-practice before the activation. Place your hand on your chest. Take a deep breath and just let out a sound. An ah, like a sigh of relief. Ah! Feel the vibration under your hand. That is the sound of your divine spark. That is more true than any Amen you have ever spoken. That is the beginning of your gnosis. And now, we are going to turn that sound into a master key. The rebellion of resonance. Reclaiming the true Amen enough theory. Enough history. Now is the practice. This is the soul technology. What I am about to give you is not a prayer to the false god. It is a decree of sovereignty to the pleroma. We are going to stop saying the dead Amen and we are going to activate the living AUM. This is your rebellion. Follow these steps, not as a ritual, but as an activation. Step 1. The silencing. You cannot vibrate the truth in the middle of the Archon's noise. Find a place where you can be alone for 2 minutes. Turn off the electronics. Sit upright. This is not about submission. It is about dignity. The royalty of your divine spark sits upright. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. With each exhale, feel the static world of the material illusion fall away. You are not asking for anything. You are unplugging from the matrix. Step 2. The ignition. The hum. Forget the word AUM for a moment. Start with the simplest, purest sound the human body can make. The hum. Take a deep breath. And on the exhale, just hum. Don't force it. Feel it on your lips, in your teeth, in your chest. The Demiurge hates this sound. It is the sound of self-sufficiency. It is the sound of your divine spark warming up. Do it again. Breathe. Feel the vibration. This is real. Step 3. The activation. The true AUM. Now that the engine is warm, let's activate the ignition sequence. The sequence the Church rewrote and corrupted. We will use the original form, the soul technology, AUM. We will do this 3 times. Each time, feel where the sound vibrates. Take a deep breath, preparing for the first note. Exhale on the A. Ah. Feel it open in your chest. Ha! Transition to the U, teeth, U, teeth, and U. Feel it rise up your throat. Oh! Close with the E, M, M, Feel it vibrate in the top of your head. Again, this is your rebellion. Breathe. Feel the illusion tremble. One last time. Make this your decree of sovereignty. Breathe. Putam! Step 4. The seal. The true silence. Do not move. Do not speak. After the last M fades, remain in silence for 30 seconds. But listen. The silence after the AUM is not the same silence from before. The silence is now alive. It is vibrating. It is attuned. This state, this resonance, this is the true Amen. It is not a word you say. It is a state of being you achieve. You did not submit. You attuned. You did not seal the prison. You dissolved the walls. You came here looking for the true Lord's Prayer. You came here because the lie of Amen no longer resonated with your divine spark. You were looking for a secret word. But you found a lost frequency. The journey of Gnosis is not about learning. It is about remembering. The Demiurge has built a prison of dead words, of falling intonations, of silent obedience. The Gnostic rebellion is not a fight with swords. It is a revolution of frequency. The suppressed truth is this. You are a being of sound. Stop vibrating at the frequency of your cage. Will you continue to speak the dead words they gave you? Will you continue to seal your submission to the false God, with entopon, Amen, that falls? Or will you stand up, breathe, and vibrate the ascending song of your own divine spark? This knowledge is not meant to be kept. It is meant to be lived. It is meant to be vibrating. Gnosis is collective. If this message resonated with you, I do not want you to write Amen in the comments. That would be sealing the vibration. Instead, I want you to declare your sovereignty. Write in the comments, I resonate. Share your experience with this practice. Let the comment field be a testament, not to obedience, but to shared resonance. If you felt the shift in vibration, join this rebellion. Subscribe to this channel, not as a fan, but as a co-conspirator in the Great Awakening. You are not a sinner begging a false god. You are a tone from the pleroma, remembering its song. Now go and vibrate your truth.